Hi everyone, welcome to Living La Vita Loca podcast, a retro gaming podcast for some of your retro gaming needs. My name is Fazz, and this is one of our patented, and much like our patented free play fortnightlies, this is one of our patented holiday podcasts that seem to occur from Arcade Club in Leeds pretty regularly now. I think we probably had 3 or 4 in the last year, so. But not with the fucking Scott, unbelievable. Right? Right, okay.
No, there's 2.
What a terrible start.
No, this is the third. No, this is only the third one. I wasn't on the first one.
Are you tracking my?
Yes, of course, yeah. I'm a fan.
Okay, right. Well, that's at Scott Massey 83. What a shit house. And
He's just upset. Bishy-bashy upset.
And we are really, really lucky to be joined by at Gaming with JMO, both who are fantastic Instagram, content creators, I want to call you, but, just good friends, really. We've come down to the Arcade Club in Leeds again. This is the first time that James has been on the podcast. Third time Scott's been on, which is awful news for this podcast, probably going downhill pretty quickly. We have been playing. I can see James is actively eBaying Bishy Bashy Special right now. We've been playing some pretty fun games down Arcade Club.
That's ridiculous.
And we've just come hot off the press. Our hands are knackered, wrists are knackered from playing.
Me.
From beating it hard.
Not that kind of night.
Beating it real hard on the Bishy Bashy arcade cab. It was
quite an experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, so James, before you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you've come to have 9,000 followers on Instagram, how was Bishy Bashy for you, the Bishy Bashy champion?
I don't think I ever want to play another game again. I think my gaming career's peaked. It was amazing.
Another game completed in 2026?
Well, exactly, yeah, it's going on the list. 100%.
As well it should, especially since you absolutely handed mine and Scott's asses to us. So, James, tell us a little bit about yourself then. So we've met through Instagram, and we've been to Horsewith Brewery before, and we've been to Leeds Gaming Market as well, and then now Arcade Club in Leeds. So thank you for coming this way 3 times. We'll probably owe you a visit. But yeah, a little bit about yourself in terms of content creator and what you're all about, and you've got an amazing collection at home. So yeah.
I've been doing Instagram for about 8 years now, I think. And yeah, it's just one of those things that I just started because I was a bit bored, to be honest, and then in lockdown it kind of took off and I started to expand it a bit further. And then just kind of connected with people in it over the years, but I've been doing like content creation, as it were, over the years, because I used to run a gaming website years ago when I was at secondary school, and used to kind of reach out to like companies and get friends sent pretty cool free games and things like that. So I've been doing a bit of writing and stuff here and there, and then Instagram was kind of a lazy route into it, to be honest, because it's quick to take a picture and write an article. And then I've got back into the writing recently, doing Substacks and things.
So what do you feel right now? Do you feel like you enjoyed writing at secondary school? Do you feel like you enjoy the Substacks that you write now? Do you feel like you've got more experience around gaming, so therefore you enjoy that? Or do you feel like you enjoyed being a bit more of a young man and not really knowing the world too much about gaming?
It was fun kind of coming at it from an amateur thing, but then when I look at the writing I did then, I'm like, that was pretty bad that I ever published that, because it doesn't read well. But I enjoy the writing now because I've got more of an idea of what I'm talking about, and it's a fun little thing. I think sometimes when it catches me, like when the GTA news came out and I was just like, I need to write about this, and just went and like knocked out like 2,000 word article that night. But sometimes I don't write for a while. I think the thing is just doing it without pressure, because when I had a website I was like, I need to get articles turned around for a certain time, and now I'm just like, if I want to write 2 articles a month, I'll do it. If I want to write nothing for 3 months, I'll do that, and it's kind of working. So yeah.
Cool. And so you both are in a collective on Instagram, like just a general group though, that is in. So how's that work for you both? That is in terms of collaborating with other content creators, and how do you find that? Is it hard work to maintain that, or is it really enjoyable and really breezy?
I think normally we've just ended up like tagging people and promoting each other's posts and things like that, and it's been quite a good, most of the time anyway, community feel of people sharing things and kind of pushing each other on. And I think the biggest success was starting that Tuesday stack thing that we started as like a a little tag that we'd all do, and that seems to have taken off, and you see like quite big accounts seemingly doing it now.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool.
Yeah, there's quite a few accounts doing that now. That's really good. But it is one of those things. It's like when you do get to a point of there's certain things that every now and again you just end up falling into a point of actually we could do this together. Such as like we just talked about it tonight, Bishi Bashi. We might end up doing that as a collab post because it's another game completed, but it's for both of us at the same time, same venue, so we might do that. In the same vein, on one of James's previous posts, he put a post up finishing a game we're going to talk about tonight, and I'd already taken basically the exact same photo.
Yeah, it was near identical, wasn't it?
And it was, and as soon as that post went up, I messaged him and I sent him the photo and I went, this is my post I'm going to put up.
Look, you sent him a message that just said shit house, right?
Basically, I went, you copied. I haven't put it up yet, but you've copied me. So I'm really upset about it.
Well, just before we get into that then, so James, I asked Scott this last time we came to Arcade Club a couple of months ago. Was there anything apart from the Bishi Bashi competition we just had, is there anything that caught your eye when you were walking around before that you thought it's great to see that cabinet, or I've not seen that in years, or that's my long lost love, for example? Or
The monkey ball one, I think it's one of the big ones upstairs because that just banana joystick, it's just ridiculous. I played that game loads on the GameCube, and like
have a ball as well, or is it just a banana?
It's just a banana.
Yeah.
It's literally just a banana and nothing else. And it's a bit harder than doing it on a like GameCube controller, but it's really good. There's a Luigi's Mansion one that I keep spotting and thinking I should really give that a try, but I've not got around to that yet.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Me and the kids have got into that quite a few times.
That's similar to the one that me and you played with the the 4D with the.
That was one I was about to say. That was really good as well. The 4D sort of horror experience. It's very like Resident Evil-ish with just like silly horror and over the top.
Yeah, with the shaking chair and the blowing air in your face and all the other bits that come out as well.
Yeah, just an outrun as well, of course.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, the outrun too is
3-player outrun. I told you, 3-player outrun on a 2-man machine.
Bit of panic when we have to like, switch seats.
It's good, isn't it?
Perfectly.
It's not stressful enough as it is trying to switch.
But I'm sure we talked about this last time we came in. I'm sure I mentioned it. If I didn't do it, I only just talked to you about it. But now we've done it tonight and experienced it. It's a lot funner in it playing a 2-man game with 3 men.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. In terms of. So just before we get onto that joint experience of a recent review that you guys, and the reason I sort of said, let's do some podcasting tonight is because I wanted to hear all about this game. Just asking you, James, and just about favourite games or things that you're well known for getting into. That is in, through your posts, see a lot of love for like Zelda, for example, and things. Is there anything you kind of go, that's my system, that's my game, that's my jam?
Yeah, I think Zelda's definitely one because I've been into Zelda for years. There's quite a few like PC games, like I think you've commented before, like No One Lives Forever.
Yeah.
That was like absolutely my thing. I love those games, and I'm like still furious that they're just not accessible to people anymore. Anything horror, especially Resident Evil. I absolutely love Resident Evil. I wouldn't say I've just got one system apart from the GameCube's probably the biggest one I'm like that with, because I think that's the system I spent the most time with as like a teenager, and I just absolutely love the games on that and the library on it.
But when you get like cardboard, particularly Nintendo cardboard, all your photos, like it's top quality cardboard. There's not a lot on it. Like you're a real
I'm a bit of a stickler
collector
for it.
You want the best of the best, don't you?
Yeah,
I'm quite bad on new.
I'm quite a stickler for quality on like boxes and things like that, even to the point where if I've got like, particularly if I get a new game and I've got like a minor like scratch or something to it, I'm like, it's going back and I'm getting, it just bugs me. I don't know if I get something in, I'm not quite happy with the condition, it's going to bother me until I like
put the solids.
It's a bit like that, because that arrived in like an absolute just like mess. And I was fuming.
Like the movie, I get it.
Yeah, even First Light, that was a brand new game and it arrived with like, just the spine was a little bit like creased. I was like, what's going on here?
Really?
So I sent it back and went and got a new copy.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Which probably a lot of people will be bothered about, but I'm just like a bit of a stickler for it. It's probably
fair enough. Look, you pay for
it's a bit of
what
an
you pay
OCD sort of trait, but
Yeah, I get that.
With a brand new game though, you do expect it to turn up. You do expect it to turn it up in perfect condition.
New,
So I must admit, somebody who I know bought the Ultimate Edition or the big limited edition with the golden gun.
Oh yeah.
And that turned up and like the steelbook was scratched.
Really?
In the pack.
That's shocking.
Yeah, so they weren't happy about it. They
Especially at that price, because that was about 250 quid.
see we're a lot. I know we're over 200. I don't know exactly what it was. 220, 230, 50, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they sent it back, and they weren't happy about it. So obviously, yeah. So that's why I sent it back. But they were also at a point of, I'm sending it back, but I also really want to play the game.
Yeah.
So they bought the specialist edition from Amazon, so they could play the game in between their games coming back. So basically now they've got 2 copies of the game. So they spent a fortune on that.
Yeah, but I nearly went for the specialist edition, and then an Argos had a copy in, but it was a bit of a trek. It wasn't my usual one. I did like half an hour drive to go and get it. Just I wanted to play it there and then. But I think I'm quite lucky with a lot of my old cardboard, because basically I used to take the cartridges out, and then the cardboard just went up in the attic and just stayed in boxes, so it's pretty much in new condition, a lot of it. Annoyingly, the manuals, for whatever reason, I took a lot of the manuals out of them as a kid, and I had like a metal box full of the manuals, and I have no idea where that box ended up. So it could be somewhere, but a lot of these games, like, they're not complete, they're boxed and they've got the cartridge, but they've not got a manual.
That's so tough, because
it's annoying, because manuals go for crazy money for some of these games on their own as well.
But you can't give yourself a hard time for that, because as a kid that was a good decision.
It was just
a great decision to do
keep
that.
them in a box and I can access them easy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll turn up one day and I'll be rich.
That's blatantly your mum and dad's fault. That not keeping track of it.
Yeah.
So
they just chucked it out.
when it gets to a point, just put them in a home.
Yeah,
Don't even feel bad about
that's
it.
the plan.
Don't even feel bad. No
not even
regrets.
nice
And then just
one.
dig around the back garden until you find your manual tin.
Yeah.
The cheapest one you can find.
I'll spend the money on replacing the manuals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you say, it's your fault. It's their fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. So you have to go in this home so I can rebuy these manuals.
Exactly.
We were there at Leeds Game Market when you bought Lilac Wars in cardboard.
I was so close to buying that.
And you get it for a really good price, didn't you?
It was a bargain.
Like 20 quid, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 20 quid, and it was complete. It's got the manual. It's got the rumble pack. It's still got like the original bags of the cartridge and the rumble pack are in. Box is a bit tattier than I normally get, but at like 20 quid I couldn't pass it up, to be honest.
Absolutely not.
And a lot of the time I've seen them for like 60 quid, and they're no better condition wise. So it's like, at that price, it was a no-brainer really.
Yeah.
Honestly, I saw that and I was going to buy them, and I just thought, I don't collect N64s. There's no point in me getting it. It's better going to a home that actually appreciates it. The man stood next to me is the home that appreciates it. So me not was the correct decision, and that's one of the things that, when it comes to game collecting, when people go into shops and the snipe stuff just because it's cheap to then trade in, that sort of winds me up a bit. I always leave that type of stuff because I think somebody else who wants that could get a deal on it.
And someone else that appreciates it, not that you don't appreciate it, but someone that's looking for it, and it's like, that's going to be their baby. It makes complete sense to like let it go to them, doesn't it? Really. So that's
and
cool.
It is a gamble, because obviously I do know the fact the second I walk away, he's going to be some scalper.
Someone else will scalp it.
Hopefully, I'm hopeful that he's actually a fan of that, whatever it is.
That is a good worldview, man. I appreciate that.
Glass half full.
Yeah, fair enough.
I like it.
Many of our drinks have been tonight, and then got emptied, and then
Always.
So let's talk a little bit about 007 First Light then. So you mentioned it already, and you talked about people getting special editions and things. Look, we're not a podcast that talks about like recent news, etc. Around. I don't want to get into the depths of PlayStation, have physical games and things, but did you both just get the standard edition, the specialist edition, or?
I just got the standard edition.
Yeah.
I was looking at the specialist, but it was an extra £10 off Amazon, and I think it had an outfit or something. I think it was like a tuxedo, which, I mean, fairness, it was cool, but I was like,
I find
it was worth my extra money.
Yeah, I find when a special edition is a digital add-on, that doesn't make sense to me almost in a way. That I remember MGS Delta, for example, it was like, oh, you get Snake's tuxedo or whatever, and it was an extra tenner. I was like, I don't. But that's just like, it's not real, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't get a map or a booklet, or whereas as you see some of these amazing editions that have a physical thing you can hold, I really enjoy those. But I don't know. How about you, Scott?
I got the special edition from Amazon because it was like, I think at the same when they all count to pre-order, they're all the same price, and then I do think the normal edition dropped down by 5-10 quid depending on where you bought it from. But there is a visual difference to the case. Obviously, the special edition does say special edition on the top, but it's a silver background instead of a gold background.
Okay.
So obviously the more common one is going to be the gold background. And I was talking to the lad that bought both copies, like the special edition and the ultimate edition basically. And I said to him, I said, I do like the gold cover. I said, but all I'll do for that is I'll wait 10 years until it's £5 in CX, then pick it up then.
Which is fair enough.
And to be fair, other people would do the exact same thing with the specialist edition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But to be fair though, I've just spoken on it thinking, oh, there's no difference. But you've spotted a difference though, as a collector. You've spotted that difference and gone, actually, it was worth spending a little bit more to have something different now. So, yeah, fair enough.
And it's, well, I know that I would have got it cheaper also because it's Bond and it's been, 13 years-ish, or maybe more, since the last Bond game came out. Thought this is
Legends. 2012, I think it was, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was because it was on the Wii U, so it would have been about
Yeah, but Legends wasn't even a proper Bond game in my eyes. Like the last proper Bond game was Blood. What's it called?
Bloodstone.
Yeah.
Bloodstone, yeah, on PS3 with Daniel Craig. Yeah, that was the proper.
Have you not played the DS version that I played? Oh.
That sounded horrific. So no. But yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I bought it. And you did get a couple. I think that I'm not sure if it was just one thing or there were more things, and I can't remember the exact content that was included in the specialist edition, whether it was one or more. But we did get a couple of DLC codes in there.
Yeah.
Because I must admit, when I opened it up, and the DLC codes were basically like a manual, because it had 30 pages for every single language, but then on the back of it, it was one code.
One code.
Yeah.
Love it.
So like it was pointless. I said to I thought I was getting a map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought I was getting
Because that would
like
be worth the extra money, definitely.
yeah, but obviously that weren't the case. I got overexcited too quickly there.
So let's just talk 007 first, like then. So end of May 2026 came out. IO Interactive. One of the most listened to podcasts that we've actually produced was all about Hitman and and having the Hitman trilogy. So I assume that people would be interested in this game. I certainly am. I haven't played it yet, but you both completed it, and I'd be interested to hear about how you feel about it, and how you feel about IO Interactive in general. Have you played much Hitman, and then what this feels like compared to that, maybe, or
Just going back to you though, what you just said there, and I remember you saying about 007 coming out, like you're interested in it, you want to play it, but you're also willing to wait. And this is the only difference, and obviously this is the difference between how how gamers play. I weren't willing to wait, so I'm happy with what I paid. If you wait 2, 3, 4, 5 months and you get it at half the price, you will still have a great time, but you'll just paid half the money. And that's a bit of the sort of not even buyer's remorse. It's the early adopters. That's the early adopter tax.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't wait. I wanted to play it, but I must have. This is not answering your question, because obviously it's something totally different. But there is one thing that really pissed me off about the launch of this game, and that is that they released the opening credit sequence of the game, which I'm not being funny. When you go watch a Bond movie and you play a Bond game, you have the opening sequence of whatever, then you have the music and the opening graphics with the opening credits. That's an event.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did they release that before the game came out?
That's a good point.
I feel like there should be a bit more respect of Bond and what it does.
That's quite a special moment in the game as well.
I mean, releasing the song and saying who's done the song was a big deal, but then releasing that, I was really pissed off with that. And to the point, I didn't watch any of it because I wanted to do the full sort of Bond experience.
Yeah,
where
I didn't
do
watch
the
it when
opening.
it was on YouTube either. I think I started it, was like, no, I'm going to wait for the whole game.
Yeah, so you do the opening sequence, then you do the opening credits, you get fully immersed in it, naked woman with a bit of a thingy around her, a bit of titty in there, and then you get straight into the next bit of the game. Obviously, we're a bit different this time because it's not Roger Moore or whoever, where they are a 00, you go there to earn the number.
So, thinking about that then, in terms of the way that the game is set up, so you are speaking to somebody who hasn't played it yet. I'm obviously aware of it, I've read reviews and things, but I am someone who has played the IO Interactive Hitman trilogy and thought it was one of the best things I've played in the most recent years. How similar is that game to that, or is it its own entity? Is it something that is?
It's got a lot of Hitman DNA, I think, in it. You get
It's a 50-50,
yeah. There's chunks of it that are more you're exploring somewhere, and there's a lot of very Hitman-esque settings. So there's like a nightclub, there's a hotel, there's like a luxury resort. Very similar. If you play the Hitman trilogy, it's very similar to settings in those. And when you're playing it, there's a lot of that. You know, you can distract guards by doing various things, and it's quite open-ended, and there's a few different ways to get to your objective. But then equally, it's got those bits, and then it's meshed with bits that are almost like Uncharted.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it's quite impressive how they pulled it off, really, because it kind of jumps through very different styles, and there's like several vehicle sequences as well that are just totally separate to it, and there's some that are it's like QTE event type sections as well with cutscenes, and it just jumps between all these different things, but it kind of all works quite well. It doesn't feel like a bit of a mess like it probably could have done.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a 50-50 between Uncharted and the normal gameplay between Uncharted and Hitman. I don't think that the driving sequences they weren't long enough, and there weren't enough of them for me.
I agree.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they should have been longer and better than what they were. The first one that they showed on the trailer when you're in the old Aston Martin V8 Vantage, that were really good. Then everything else that's really short.
I was disappointed with the one near the end where you get, not to spoil it too much, but you get like a proper
the
bombed
ultimate
car with like all the
Yeah.
kind of weaponry, and you don't get to drive it out. You get a little arena where you fight some bad guys, and then you kind of expect him to go out onto the roads, and it just doesn't
you do
happen.
donuts, don't you?
And I was pretty gutted by that, because I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
But
I were expecting more from that as well. And another thing I was going to say, I can't remember what it was.
How was the action gameplay then? So, because I imagine that again, to bring it back to the Hitman series, you're meant to be doing a lot of stealth, but you end up breaking out into some action that maybe doesn't work necessarily, and almost ends with that game being a bit janky, but in a fun way. I imagine there's a lot more focus on the action part of things. That is in, I imagine, James Bond is there kicking ass, or not really?
I still felt like it was a little bit clunky at times,
Okay.
a lot less than Hitman, but it wasn't as like fine-tuned as something like Uncharted 4, for example. I'd say it was more close to like Uncharted 2, maybe, in terms of like the standard of it, but it was still really good fun. There's a lot of like the hand-to-hand combat was quite cool, because you can chain all kinds of moves together, and there's a lot of switching between like hand-to-hand combat, and then you switch to gunplay, and then you got a gadget, and it kind of all merges together. It just doesn't feel quite as fine-tuned as like a Naughty Dog game, but it's still I still thought it was really good quality. It definitely feels a lot better than the action does in Hitman. Like in Hitman, it feels like you're not supposed to.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's definitely part of the design. And I found it was quite forgiving with the stealth as well, because like Hitman, I always find if you mess up on the stealth, you're not going to last long most of the time, because the baddies overpower you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's like, actually, you can fight your way out of a room fairly easily, and you can go all gung-ho and just go in and take out a room full of guys, can't you, fairly, at least on standard difficulty. Imagine it's harder on the higher ones, but...
No, you can. I do think that so one of the sort of powers that you've got in them situations is a bluff.
Yeah.
And that drains really quickly. I would have liked more bluffing.
Because that was really cool when it worked well.
Yeah, because when it worked, and there's only certain people that you can do it on. So like the harder sort of the guy is type of thing, you can't bluff past them.
The captain at the stairs, you can't quite bluff
But then
them,
there's others that you could, but then you sort of, if you try it on one of them and it don't work, then you've drained it. So then if you go to a lower grade guy, you basically...
Would you know if that would work? If you walked up to them, would you just...
Yeah, because
would you already know that's
I think when you do you've got like a Q, I can't remember what it's called, like Q lens, I think, or something, where you can kind of see various things that people are doing,
Which
and
is
it does
basically
come up
you're
with
watching it.
Yeah, and it comes up with some information on the guys, like the captains, like can't be bluffed and stuff like that. So you can do that, but you're not necessarily. For me anyway, I didn't do that for every enemy. It was just certain ones.
Yeah.
But it was quite good. I thought with the little James Bond quips that he does. So when he like does the bluffs and things like that, it did feel very Bond. Like the comments he makes and things.
It is good on that, and that's one of the things why I think I would want more bluffs, because I tried to go into some, and obviously I judged them totally wrong. I didn't get through enough bluffs, or I wasted them on the wrong people because I weren't paying attention to who they were. But then I have watched a video back of a lady on Twitch called Stormfall, and she basically every time she got in a fight, she picked up a cup and the things that he says, like it's tea time, and he smashed me in the face with a mug, or one lump or two, and smashed him in the face with that. It's like they're the things that I didn't do enough of, and I'm like, actually, I've missed out on quite a few elements in this game, but they're the quips that are James Bond as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I think you could be tempted, and I probably did this a lot, of going just into straight up action and being very like just a standard third person shooter where you kind of just one man army going through waves of enemies, which in some ways isn't very James Bond, I don't suppose, because I feel like it doesn't always go through like huge waves of enemies and come out, just taking them all out. He often kind of gets through by the skin of his teeth, and I felt like there were times where you maybe could feel a bit overpowered, or so maybe more of the bluffs, maybe more of the stealth elements would have been a good thing.
Okay, fair enough. And in terms of the story, then, does it feel quintessentially James Bond? Do you feel like it just sort of folds into what you've seen previously in games and movies before, or do you feel like it's sort of carves its own way, or
it's quite interesting because it's like an origin story, which I don't really. I mean, I've not seen all the Bond films, but I don't think there's ever really been a Bond that's been like a pure origin story like that.
Casino Royale is the closest.
Because that's where it's obviously there were no training or anything before that because of how he came into it. But one of my favourite sections of the game was the training section, which was a montage.
Yeah.
So you did one thing, and then you did another thing, and then you did another thing.
I thought that was really cool.
That was one of the best bits of the game, and it's early on, so that's not a spoiler for anybody when you come to play it.
It was like a classic sort of 80s style training montage where you switch, but you're doing like 3 or 4 different kinds of gameplay. So you'd be in the car, and then you'd be in a shooting range, and then you'd be sneaking, and you just play a bit of it.
Yeah, then you'd be punching somebody in the face, then you'd be back in the car.
That was really clever the way that was.
Well, then you get better in the cab, then you get better at punching, so it's like it sort of went round, and you got better and better each time. It was brilliant. That was spot on. That was like really entertaining gameplay. That.
Yeah, and I thought the story overall was quite well done, to be fair. And I thought the actual actors that portrayed the main characters, like Patrick Gibson, the guy who's played Bond, I thought he was really good. Actually, I thought he was really convincing. He had the mannerisms and like we said before, the quips that you'd expect from Bond, that kind of cocky, confident sort of attitude.
All of them were. I thought everybody, even the baddies, the guys who played the baddies, everybody were absolutely spot on for it. So I mean, apparently it's been in development for like 7 years or something like that. So it's been a long time, but like, it was great.
It really got, the story was one that I started, and it was one of those games where, for me, sometimes I play a game and I'll put it on and I'll play a little bit and it doesn't grab me, and I'm kind of forcing myself to go back to it a little bit, whereas this was like I could happily just play for like a good couple of hours on end, which I don't really do these days as much as I used to when I was younger. But the story I was like, I need more.
Oh, really?
That was really good.
How did you play it as well? Did you play it on the Pro?
I played it on the Pro.
All the way through?
All the way through, yeah.
See, because how I play, I move between the Pro and the Slim.
Right.
So I
was going to ask how does it form, how does it feel, how does it look?
So on the Slim it looks good, but on the Pro it looks really good. So there is a graphical difference.
So, okay.
And so that's one of the things why I wanted to ask like, how you play, because I know other people said it's absolutely brilliant, it looks great, and I'm like, but because I jump from one console to another because of how I play, being in different rooms depending on who's doing what in my house. There is a downgrade in the visuals for the Pro. Sorry, from the Pro to the normal PlayStation. Well, the normal PlayStation looks really good.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm probably in one of the first world problem unique situations that I can do a comparison like that. If you only played it on the standard PS5, you would think it looks great.
Yeah.
So that's not like, so either way that you play it visually, it's going to be brilliant.
One thing I noticed with the visuals, I don't know if you noticed this, it didn't happen that often. Sometimes there was like some like really late texture sort of pop in where a texture would look like really blurry. That was the only thing, and I don't know if they might have patched it out by now. That was the only thing that every now and then just kind of took me out, because it looks great most of the time, and then that just happened every now and then. And I was like,
how do you
I'm not
feel
used
about
to that.
How do you feel about that for paying? If it's you've got a PlayStation 5 Pro, you've paid for a game that's just been released and it's full price. Like, should we not hold these developers and the game, well, PlayStation in general, Sony, to account more? Should you not think that this should be should it not be perfect by that point? I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm asking the question.
I know
you know,
completely what you mean, because it is, and we see a lot of this stuff with these day one patches coming out to fix games, and still coming out with bugs, and some we get a lot of games, don't we, that launch as a complete mess. Obviously, Cyberpunk's probably the most famous example that talk about No Man's Sky, another one taking years to fix and get to a quality. And this, it is very first world problems. It is a minor gripe, but then when you see that, and when the textures don't pop in properly, and you've got this PS2, PS3 sort of looking texture, looking back at you
3
on
flying
this
through the
expensive console and this brand new game, you're thinking, that's a bit dodgy. But yeah, I always feel like IO anyway. I feel like sometimes their games have always had a little bit of roughness around the edges, all the way they've done them. So I kind of give them a bit of the benefit. But if it was, I feel like if it was Rockstar and GTA 6 was doing that, or it's Naughty Dog and their next big game did that, I'd probably feel a bit differently about it, because I feel like their budgets are probably a lot higher and they're much bigger companies. I know IO aren't tiny, but they're still fairly small fry compared to others. So I give them a bit more of a pass probably.
For me, I think it depends on when that pops in. So it's like if that pops in on a cutscene which you have no control over, and it's totally like, so you haven't changed your outfit, there's no randomization behind it, that should be absolutely perfect. When that goes wrong, which I think it did do in
it did in mine in one cutscene.
That's unacceptable. If it goes wrong, but you've got a choice of 1,000 outfits to choose from and something, and they're trying to figure it out to put into that cutscene, that's different. But on this, no, you're in a set outfit, it's how you are in that environment, then it goes from gameplay to a cutscene, and then things are still popping in late or wrong. That's not right. And but generally, I think during the gameplay, the world, the environments that you're in, I never had any pop-in or anything like that. So it's mainly the cutscene.
Mostly cutscenes, or like opening sections of levels where you just kind of first come into something.
It's like one of the things, like, right, we need to get this right. Because if you're going to patch anything, it's going to be the open world. So, because you've loaded a level.
Someone's done something you wouldn't expect them to do.
Somebody stood on the red or whatever. Right, that's wrong. But a cutscene, that should be easily resolved before the game's even released, surely. That's
I think you're right with that.
I think that some of the best, and we'll come back to Bond movies towards the end, but so the way that Bond is paced is really important to me. Did you feel that this game was paced well as a Bond adventure in general? Did you feel like, because how long did it take you both to complete, or do you think it's sort of like, is it about
12 to 15 hours?
Yeah, which a Bond movie is 2 hours, for example. So how did that feel, stretching it over that?
I thought it was quite well paced, because it had you have an initial section where the game starts off before he kind of gets involved in any kind of Secret Service or anything like that, and he just kind of drops you, which I thought was a great way to start, because you're straight into the action, you're straight into doing things, kind of introduces all the third person shooting mechanics, which are pretty standard stuff, and then you get into the training element, which kind of, there's a lot of plot introduced, a lot of characters introduced. It is the standard Bond stuff, you meet M, you meet Q and all those kind of people, Moneypenny, and there's the training montage that we spoke about before, and then I felt like, because you're going from one country to another, and the plot, it kind of keeps coming to a point where you feel like it could end, and then there's like another bad guy, or there's somebody else involved, and it keeps kind of ramping up, but it did it in quite a well-paced way. I feel like each section was lasted as similar to a Bond movie, to be fair, like 2 to 3 hours. You'd have a chunk that was around that sort of length, and then you'd kind of end that section.
So it kind of chunked it well.
Yeah, I thought it was quite well paced in those parts.
Yeah, I thought pacing was good, and obviously then it depends on what you do in the certain areas you're in. So like when you're in the cubes, you can go and explore and find all the old James Bond, like the phone booth that suck people in, and then you've got the shoes that a certain character wore. So like there's certain Easter eggs in there from the old films, and when you go near them, like the characters, the NPCs be like, can't believe they did this back in the day, it's ridiculous, isn't it, or something like that. It's like, well, yeah, it was, but it worked for that time and that era.
There were quite a lot of good Easter eggs, actually, weren't there? Because a lot of the names of like certain stages were names or close names to actual Bond movies. A lot of the trophies and stuff were named or connected to Bond movies. I thought that was a nice little touch, something you kind of pick up on, but they didn't make too much of it. It was just something that fans would notice about.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, because we've got another half an hour to go in Arcade Club. So, just talk a little bit about, I guess, your overall thoughts and feelings of the game, in terms of, look, I always push people if you can give someone, if you can give a score, like, isn't it's really funny because when we started this podcast, like, we never really thought about doing anything like along with, oh, you know, I'm going to make you give me a score, but then at the same time, I feel like it's a really good idea to kind of distill in your mind, to kind of go and fall down on a certain side of things. You go, oh, is it a 6? Is it a 7? You just go, no, it's a 7 because of this, it's an 8 because this is a 9 because of this. Is there, how do you have a gut feel for how this feels, you know, I guess after a few months of completing the game?
I probably feel for me like it's one of those where I really loved it in the moment and really enjoyed it. It's not something I've necessarily gone away like thinking a ton about since, which sometimes like some games stick with me. So I'd probably say maybe like an 8 would be about right, because I really enjoyed it, and I don't really think there's anything I've found fault in, to be honest, about the game. And it was the right sort of length, difficulty pacing it, everything about it was good. I just don't know if it necessarily got that ton of lasting impact where I'd be like, I'd be thinking about in a couple of years' time what to go back to it, like some of my very favourites that maybe would push it into a 9 or a 10. But that said, I'd love to see a sequel and see them expand on it.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, I'd say 8, touching on a 9. They did say that. But then,
spoilers.
Amazon own the license now, don't they? And they didn't own it when they started developing. And they said something about how they'll be taking on like the ownership of the development of the next game. And I'm like, I still hope they let IO do it, because you know, they've got a perfect formula there. Stick the Amazon branding on it, or whatever you want to do, but please let them make it. It's not some random Amazon studio.
Amazon just need to basically fund them.
Because which I think they'll probably, if they're sensible, will do
well
that,
enough,
won't they?
I think they'll do that, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Scott?
8. I'm saying 8. Probably might even push it to a 9 out of 10, because it's just like, it's a simple. Remove your brain from the world, escapism, you're James Bond, you're trying to earn that number. There's various things that happen. You have to have a glass of whiskey when certain things happen. If you've seen my stories, you know. No spoilers, but I liked it, mate. I thought it's basically it's Bond. So if you like Bond, it's exactly what you want.
Perfect. Thank you for a good segue. So last question then. If you were going to say this was a Bond movie, would it crack your top, I want to say 3, would it crack your top 3 Bond movies, Bond adventures, let's call them then?
I won't say no. It won't be in the top 3.
I don't think plot-wise it would quite.
So let's stretch it out then. Top 5, top 10.
I'd say it might break the top 10 for me out of the ones. But there's a lot of Bond movies I haven't seen, so it might be. You know, I've finally watched more of certain eras, but some of the older classic ones I haven't seen as much of. So it might be that it wouldn't fit with them. But out of the ones I've seen, I'd definitely say. I mean, it's a lot better than a lot of the Pierce Brosnan ones. I'll give it that.
Oh wow, there we go. Pierce Brosnan taking bullets.
Taking shots.
I suppose it depends on what it is that you're after, because it's like, I've watched all the Bond films, so I would say it depends on. Obviously, some of those things depends on the individual.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think a lot of people now will watch the Sean Connery ones and go, "No, that's absolutely garbage. It's too slow. There's not enough gadgets. It's not all. There's not."
Giving you a look there, mate.
It's interesting to say that though, because
there's not an invisible car for the start. So do you know what I mean? So that's where people might start getting fallen out by it.
Jump the shark there.
I listened to it was the What Culture, the gaming podcast, and they were talking about Bond in the run up to it, and they were saying about how they tried to go back and watch some of the Connery Bond films, and they were like, they struggled to get into them, and they said just with a modern eye on it and watching it, and having not seen them and not got that affinity for it that maybe you get growing up, they were just like, this is just a bit daft, and it was just a bit cheesy, some of the acting, and they just didn't do anything for them. And I was like, you know what, that's quite an interesting way of looking at it, because you kind of, if you've got that, if you've grown up with it, you have a different outlook on it, don't you?
Absolutely,
So that's why I think that it obviously depends on your outlook. Like, it'd be in top 10, probably would be in top 10 for me. It'd probably be up there with one of the best Bond films, Die Another Day. Just looking.
You can't just not say that out loud. That's not true.
It's not true, no. I'm just waiting for laughs and smiles on that. I was literally waiting for a reaction.
Choking on my own rage. Good lord. Fucking hell.
But no, it's up there. It's not bad. It's better than Die Another Day. I will say this though about Die Another Day. It's got one of the best opening. No, it's got one
Stand
of
over there, podcast now.
it's got one of the best opening credit sequences of any Bond film
Has it?
because it links what happens.
The Madonna thing.
Yeah, because it links what happens prior to the opening sequence to what happens after. Because it shows the full torture sequence of Pierce Brosnan.
Oh god, yeah, but it's not as good as the torture scene
No, but
of Daniel Craig when
No,
he gets
because
his
obviously
balls beaten in.
that's a bit
Casino
more
Royale.
graphic. But that's the only.
That's why I like it. Good.
Yeah,
Bloody.
Fair enough. But that's the only opening credit sequence. It's actually part of the film.
Yeah.
And it's not just half
But
naked
isn't that
woman.
shit though? Don't you want like sort of like liquid women, like sort of like dancing around bullets?
I suppose
Is that not?
I suppose it
Is that
depends-
not James Bond?
It depends on what you want. Where I say that's a bit different. And I did like that because they try something
Yeah.
different. And the song's not that bad, to be fair.
Yeah.
You don't like Die Another Day?
I like Madonna. Don't know if I like Die Another Day. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine. It ain't quite, you know.
It's better than Jack White and Alicia Keys.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
You see, you can't even name the song, can you?
Whatever. No.
Exactly.
The people that I know, well, but the song, no, I have fucking idea. No, yeah, I'm really excited to play this at some point. And like you said before, I don't really have. I'm really reticent to call it FOMO, as in like, you know, the first day sort of the situation when you kind of go, oh, I really want to get into that. And it was the first time in a long time where I was like, oh, I think I want to buy this game and I really want to play it. But then I kind of got to like sort of the day it was released and sort of said, I'm okay. I'll wait a little bit. It's going to be around for, I hope, you know, like we're not going to get to that physical sort of conversation again. But you know, that I assume I can buy that game and play it in 3-4 years' time, and it'll still be as good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it at some point, and hopefully they will bring, you know, something else out. In considering it's 8/9, you know, rated by you guys, they'll bring another, you know, they'll go ahead and do a sequel and stuff. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Sorry.
So the only thing for me is they best be making that game now.
Yeah.
Well,
Because if they're waiting for results, they've already said it. Basically, James Bond will return. If they're waiting for sales and things coming in, and they're not making that game, it's going to be another 5 years before that game comes out. They need to be making that game now.
Yeah,
that game needs to be 2-3 years already into production.
Yeah.
Do you think they are though? Do you think so? Do you think they thought 1 year into, you know, production of this, they thought this is pretty good?
Yeah.
We're gonna, you know, we can go, you know.
I suppose it depends on like the Bond license that they've got and the executives that they've shown it to in early doors. Whether they said this is our plan for Game 2, and if that is there, and if they've got a good plan for Game 2. Because now, obviously, it's not a spoiler because the whole point of the first game is to earn your number. You've earned your number during the game.
Yeah.
At a point, I'm not going to tell you where the point is, because that would be a spoiler. So you've got your number. So now, so then the next James Bond game, you are James Bond. You are 00. Do you know what I mean? So it's like from that point moving forward. So that game, ideally, needs to be no more than 2 years away. So they need to start making that 3 years ago. Given how long it takes to make games.
Yeah, definitely. I think because obviously they're going to be bringing out a new Bond film for the first time in years with a new Bond in the next couple of years, I imagine.
Well, they
so I'd
even
have thought they'd want
announced
to try
that,
and no. I'd imagine at the very least they want to try and have those coming out around the same time to build hype, if nothing else, because you know, getting people interested in Bond again, because there's a whole generation now who
it's insane, isn't it?
Games
and
it's a
movies.
while since you know the last set of Bond films came out.
It felt really important to, like, I feel like Amazon, after they bought it, like, I feel like they kind of like really got into the thought process of thinking this game really means a lot because it's just been so long since we had a movie and the game, and had a James Bond story out in the open. So
keeping it relevant, isn't it, to people?
Yeah, so it feels really important. Hopefully they'll carry on and, you know, do a good job next time as well. So, guys, it's been really cool to speak in such a great sort of, you know, scenery and enjoy having James on the podcast for the first time.
It's been great.
Kind of enjoy having Scott on the podcast for the third time or whatever. You know.
Thanks.
Fuck off. Anyway.
What a twat.
On that
bombshell.
On that bombshell. We'll speak to you again real soon. Thanks very much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.